All right, let's dive right into this explainer. If you've been following the massive shifts in the tech landscape lately, you know we've been building up to something huge. We've seen exactly how NVIDIA constructed the most ambitious financial ecosystem of our time, and how manufacturers, like TSMC, hold the absolute physical keys to the material reality of silicon. But today we are setting the stage for the dramatic final act of this AI infrastructure trilogy. This is the exact moment the biggest cloud giants look at the board and decide, you know what, they are absolutely done paying rent.
Think about this quote for a second. In this economy, no one wants to pay tolls, but absolutely everyone has the ambition to collect them. That captures the central paradox of the modern tech economy perfectly, doesn't it? It's a dark, honestly almost cinematic reality we're dealing with right now. We are witnessing a monumental power struggle where the entities who traditionally pay massive, eye-watering fees to access computing power are now trying to usurp the very people collecting those fees.
So let's get into Act 1, the rebellion, and specifically the uprising against NVIDIA.
For the longest time, cloud hyperscalers, we're talking Google, Amazon, Microsoft, have been the absolute biggest customers of external hardware, but they are refusing to just be mere tenants any longer. What we're actually seeing here is a real-time transition from captive buyers to direct rivals. They're looking at the colossal taxes they pay on external hardware and finally saying enough. They're actively maneuvering to bypass the toll collectors and completely rewrite the rules of the game. Which brings us to forging custom AI silicon and this new era of vertical integration. These tech giants haven't just been sitting around. They've forged specific weapons to escape NVIDIA's green empire. Just look at their independent strategies. Google? Well, they saw where the wind was blowing super early on and created the TPU, the Tensor Processing Unit, and they deeply integrated it into their closed ecosystem for lightning-fast AI training. Then you have Amazon AWS. Instead of solely feeding into Jensen Huang's empire, they poured billions into Trainium and Inferentia to build their own alternative infrastructure and drive down costs. And Microsoft, the ultimate software mastodon, went all in with Maia, making a massive play to secure hardware independence.
So what's the logic behind all this custom silicon? Well, it's a classic, aggressive move of vertical integration. I mean, why buy an incredibly expensive general-purpose GPU when you can just optimize a chip exclusively for your own closed software needs? They desperately want to escape that NVIDIA tax, end their reliance on external suppliers, and ultimately drive lower costs for their own cloud clients. But honestly, this begs a really fascinating question. Does this vertical integration actually free these giants, or does it just make them stronger, turning them into new, even more monolithic tollbooth operators?
That takes us to Act 2, the new monopolies, and what we're calling the software tollbooth.
Because here's the thing, by escaping the hardware tollbooth, the hyperscalers are building something even more massive. It's a pretty ruthless irony, actually. While fighting tooth and nail to escape NVIDIA's hardware taxes and TSMC's manufacturing dependencies, these exact same cloud kings are actively privatizing access to digital intellect itself. They are, right now, constructing the most comprehensive software toll booths in human civilization. And they're doing this by moving the game completely to their home turf and forging what we call the hyperscaler master keys. They now control direct access to the most powerful proprietary AI models. They control the infrastructure APIs and the centralized cloud marketplaces. But the real kicker? They control the context. I'm talking about massive, completely inaccessible arrays of user data and exclusive corporate data. So think about it. Whoever controls the model, the interface, and that context holds the ultimate master key. They get to collect a toll on literally every single digital request that passes through the network. So we're setting up a massive clash of worlds here. Physical reality versus software scale.
We are standing on the precipice of a looming collision between two entirely different dimensions. In the domain of physical reality, the world of NVIDIA and TSMC, you are dealing with brutal engineering precision, incredibly complex lithography, and just massive energy and water consumption, not to mention acute geopolitical fragility. Now contrast that with software scale, the domain of the hyperscalers. This is a world made of data, algorithms, billions of users, and autonomous systems. It is lightning fast and it scales boundlessly and instantly.
But despite all that boundless scale, there is a catch. The virtual world scales instantly, but its code must ultimately execute on physical silicon they do not entirely own. That right there is the singular, fundamental vulnerability of the hyperscaler's sprawling software empire. Because at the end of the day, no matter how vast their virtual domain gets, the code still has to run on physical hardware.
Let's look ahead to Act 3, the future state, or what we can call Tollbooth Global Syndrome.
This physical dependency brings us to the grand architecture of the modern tech economy. Picture it as a multi-layered toll booth tower. Right at the base, NVIDIA collects the toll for compute power and architectural design. Moving up a level, TSMC collects the toll for the very physical existence of the silicon chip itself. Above them, Samsung is sitting there collecting a toll for the memory cycle. And finally, way at the top, the hyperscalers are trying to close the loop, collecting the toll for access to intelligence and the end user. It's this glowing, dark aesthetic tower of monopolies where literally everyone is simultaneously paying someone else while desperately trying to tax everyone beneath them.
And that ushers in the era of agentic commerce, or B2A, business to agent.
Because what happens when the very nature of the user changes? This is a profound paradigm shift. Agentic commerce, B2A, is a new economic model where autonomous AI agents, not you and me, not humans, act as the primary digital passengers. Imagine a world where AI agents are making independent decisions, executing transactions, and automatically navigating through all these digital highways and toll booths, and they're leaving real economic value at every single stop.
So the ultimate takeaway here is that leaving the toll at every single one of those automated stops means the ultimate winners aren't just the people writing the software or owning the consumer brands. No, the true masters of the new global economy will be the toll booth operators, the ones who actually own and control the infrastructure where billions of these agents will flow day and night. Toll booth global syndrome isn't disappearing. It is evolving to its highest, most lucrative level yet.
Which leaves us with one final, incredibly provocative question. As the fee to traverse the digital world continues to rise, who will actually win the war for the future? Will it be the chip architect, the factory owner, or the lord of scale and data? I'm going to let you think on that. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.